Hits 96.
Hits 96, Chattanooga's #1 hit music station. Gino D here with you. And today I have the pleasure of being connected via Zoom to the one and only Mark Amber. Mark, how are we doing today?
Good. How are you? How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule. I know you've been touring all over Europe and doing all kinds of crazy things. The album just got released not too long ago. The song Belong Together, I think, is pretty much everywhere. We're playing it all the time. So congratulations, first and foremost, on all the success that you're having. It's been a banner year, I can assume.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been crazy. It's been honestly just you always kind of aspire for something like this to happen when you're making music and working hard at that. And the fact that Belong Together has resonated around the world the way it has been really just quite surreal, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic song, and we'll get more into that. But
Thank you.
before we dive into Belong Together and maybe some others, I wanted to talk about maybe your early musical influences. How did you get started into music? How did this ball begin to roll, if you will?
Yeah, so I mean, I played piano my whole life. Like my mom had me take lessons growing up, and it was classical lessons. So I never got too into it then, but it was fun knowing how to play piano. And basically, what happened was it was the summer going into college, and I'd never sang for anyone. And I love home. Some of my best friends are still my friends from home, and for whatever reason, I sat at the piano late summer going into college, and my friends had left, and the not wanting to leave combined with me and my girlfriend breaking up, combined with just this overall feeling of lost after high school going to college. I, for whatever reason, sat down at the piano and I tried to write a song when no one was home, and I recorded something on my voice memos, and I'd worked that night. So I sent it to my mom in a group chat, and mom and dad in a group chat, and they're a bit older. I'm the baby by a lot. And back then they weren't that good at technology. So a few hours later, my mom responded who's this artist? Dad and I really like this song. And I was like, Mom, what do you mean it's me? And that was
Wow.
kind of like the catalyst for just songwriting in general. And I ended up in college on the side picking up guitar and learning how to use Logic, which is a tool to produce music on. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, it's just ever since that moment, it's been just working harder and harder and trying to get better at all aspects of creating, whether it's songwriting or playing instruments or producing or performing. And yeah, the past 4 years, the year I graduated college was COVID, and it kind of gave me an excuse to be at home and work on music fully.
Mhm.
That kind of translated online pretty well. And ever since then, it's just been slowly growing. And it's been really cool the past year to have a song like Belong Together and even Good to Be, and be able to put out an album and just see what it's done for me. And yeah, so that's kind of the
Yeah,
short
the gist
version
of
of it.
it. The gist of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Well, appreciate that. And again, congratulations on the success of that. And that album you're talking about now, debut, just released not too long ago, called Rockwood. It's also the
Yes.
name of one of the tracks on the album, and that track is very short. And do we
Yeah.
consider that a song? Explain kind of naming that. What is that? And then maybe
Yeah.
why you called the album Rockwood and the story behind that.
Yeah. So I wanted whoever, takes the time to listen to the album, I wanted to
Yeah.
start off with kind of setting the scene of what I want the album to feel like. And that opening kind of intro to the album, I like calling it, is I named it Rockwood because the album's named Rockwood. And the feeling that it gives me is kind of this nostalgic, this comfortable, this warm feeling. There's like home videos of my parents that I've tucked in under there. You hear it like,
Hmm.
ladies and gentlemen, Mark the musician, or like whatever it is, and all this stuff. And it's this piano instrumental. And the whole album is based off of a place that my friends and I would go to growing up called Rockwood. It was a park, and there's a park on the Hudson River in kind of upstate New York where I'm from. And it's just a place when you're there, you kind of like you watch the sunset, you go for a picnic, you go on a first date, whatever you. But when you're there, it's the weight of the world falls off your shoulders for that moment, and you're enjoying your time with the people that you're there with, and it's just an escape.
Yeah.
And the way I've looked at it, music my whole life is as that, an escape. And I wanted to create that version of escape for hopefully whoever listens to what I make. And that's what I want Rockwood to be, a place where you could kind of listen, feel good and feel heard and feel not alone or part of something bigger. And I mean, just overall feel the weight of the world fall off your shoulders maybe for a second. And yeah, so I wanted to set the scene with that intro track, and that's kind of why I named the album Rockwood.
There you go. And I think it does set the scene for sure. It definitely puts that message across and puts you in that vibe that you're looking for. Your music has been said to carry the message of celebrating life, right?
Yeah.
That's what people
Yeah.
say about your music. So explain that a little bit about the message of that. Why'd you want to kind of take that weight off somebody's shoulders for even if it's just the 45 minutes that they listen to your album or whatever that may be? Why celebrate life?
Yeah. So I, I'm kind of inherently, I'm pretty optimistic, and I think that's just how I've been raised. And I think my mom taught me at an early age to just, always see there's always something good in everything. And if you focus on that, you'll be able to get through anything. And I feel like I've carried that along with me. And I feel like, I don't know how it happened, but it feels like being optimistic and feeling good has kind of become like uncool. And I think that it's not, I don't think it has to be that way. I think people resonate with happiness. People feel they're sometimes their best version of themselves when they're feeling good. And I don't know. That's why I hope that this album, and also when you come to live shows, that you just enjoy, you have fun, you're able to kind of just feel good. I think like there's
Yeah.
honestly weirdly like sometimes not enough of that today. Everyone focuses on, all the negative things, and I hope I can be the opposite of that. So yeah.
No, I appreciate that. I think flipping it on his head is a good thing, because you're right. It's almost like if you're too positive, people start looking at you kind of peculiar. Like, why are you
Yeah.
so happy? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
But to
It's like
take those
some
moments to celebrate, I like that.
yeah, man.
Let's get to your song "Belong Together." I want you to share the inspiration behind the song. Was it actually about a past lover, or maybe a current lover? I'm not sure, but you can tell about
Yeah.
that, because I think with the magic of "Belong Together," obviously the feel good vibe to the whole thing, but the lyrics are so relatable. In fact, I even myself was listening to it and I was like, does he know about my relationship? Like it was so perfect, at least for me and my girlfriend now. So
Oh
talk
man.
about the inspiration behind the song, and what we should know about "Belong Together," so the next time we hear it, we know just a little bit more.
Yeah, totally. So I wrote Belong Together all alone in my room, in my bedroom, just staring out the window, holding a guitar. And I basically, oh, like I kind of just mentioned, a lot of themes in the album are about home and my friends and my family and the things and people that are important to me that have shaped me to be who I am. And honestly, Belong Together is about not one specific person. It's about everyone in my life that's important to me. It's about surrounding myself with the things that make me feel good, make me feel loved, make me feel happy. And yeah, to be honest, that's what like the first verse is about my me and my parents. The second verse is about me and my friends, and the chorus is more of this kind of universal theme. So yeah, that's what it's
Okay.
about. I as much as I'd like to say it's about one girlfriend or something, it's not.
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
Well, that's the beauty of music, right? That interpretation is so amazing that you can be writing about one thing and I'm hearing it completely different and putting a
totally.
whole different meaning behind it, but still, as we mentioned earlier, being positive and celebrating those moments.
Totally agree.
You can kind of think TikTok as well. I know that you posted it on TikTok, and that's kind of the viral moment that really spurred everything, and that's a huge deal. How did that impact that experience of posting on TikTok and getting that feedback impact you as a musician? I can only imagine it's almost surreal.
Yeah, that that it was crazy watching that in real time. I think, whenever I put out anything in the world, I believe in it. That's why I put it out there, and I hope that it will, reach as many people as it possibly can. Um, and more often than not, that's not how it works.
Mhm.
But with Belong Together, for some reason, I started seeing it resonate with people. They were, using it for like their videos, for their lives, and whatever they were posting or whatever. And I just slowly started watching it grow and grow and grow and grow. And it was also simultaneously while we were on my first tour. So it was like this huge, like April was crazy because it was just
Yeah.
like I was playing the song live and it was going crazy live, and then I'd be posting it online, it'd be going crazy online. It was just this like explosive month, and um, it feels really cool to like you just said, to make something that means something to me. It goes out in the world, and then it takes on its own meaning for whoever listens to it. And yeah, that's probably been it's been really awesome.
Good. And it's so many positives to social media in general, right? And a media
Totally.
like a platform like TikTok, of course, can just skyrocket someone and really send you
Yeah.
off into a different zone and different area of that. But then there's obviously now coming up and doing a follow-up of that. Are you feeling any type of pressure now to kind of go viral again? How do you look at that and be okay with it? Because there's got to be a little bit of pressure there, I can only assume.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some pressure. I think, to be honest, I'm pretty hard on myself, so I kind of put pressure on myself no matter what. But I,
Yeah.
I think that I'm excited that the whole album with Belong Together has come out,
Yes.
because there's a lot of songs on there that I feel like round out the picture of who I am. I think a lot of the singles off the album are very upbeat and positive things. And when you listen through it, there are a lot of songs, or at least a handful, that are, you know, a little more, I don't want to say ballady, but like a bit sadder, a bit more vulnerable, a bit more honest about, you know, some of the not upbeat positive things, but things that are, I think, just as equally relatable. And I feel like it rounds out the picture of who I am, and the story of Rockwood. So I I don't want to say this might come off. I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way, but I think that it's important that those are out there, no matter how successful or whatever that they become.
Mhm.
I think I feel more pressure for the single to follow up Rockwood, but you know,
Okay.
I just, like anything, I'll just write a lot of songs, and I'll pick the best ones that come, in my opinion, and we'll see what happens.
What does that creative process look like for you as an artist? I know different people approach it in different ways. Is it lyrics, melody, a little bit of both? What hits you
Yeah.
first usually?
Usually it's melody. I have chords that I like, and then I start humming melodies, and then like a word or phrase will come to mind, and I'll kind of, if it resonates with me in that moment, I'll kind of start building around it, and you know, just start creating a story around that. But I like kind of starting it. It feels subconscious to me when I'm like mumbling things. It feels like I'm just letting my mind and brain like spit out whatever it wants to.
Hmm.
I feel like when I latch onto that word or phrase that comes, it often ends up building a story that is very relevant to my current situation, whatever that may be.
Sure. So like belong together. It's such a
Yeah,
simple phrase, but to mean so much.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
excellent. You've recently started touring in Europe. You're there for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, or at least the first time in Europe. Have you ever been to Europe before?
So April was the first time
Okay.
I've been on tour in Europe, and ever since then we've kind of been like in and out. And we're going a next April for the Rockwood tour. But
Awesome.
then we're in North America for the Rockwood tour starting October. So
Very cool. It's exciting stuff. But you being a homebody, you say you like to be home. How is the experience being out and about? Do you get to sightsee and do that type of stuff, or is it really kind of show focused and you're in a bus or in a plane or whatever the case may be?
so the tour earlier this year was in a van, so we didn't really have much time.
Okay.
And if you were going to, it was very, you know, quick in and out. The tour coming up's in a bus, so I think we're gonna have more time, which I'm very excited about. Um, But yeah, I mean, I love home, and I love everything about home, but I actually do really like seeing the world, and I feel like it makes me happy to kind of look forward to coming back and feeling like feeling at home when I'm done with the kind of wild adventure I get to
Sure.
go on. So yeah, I really enjoy touring. It's kind of one of my favorite parts right now. I mean, I'm in my 20s, so it's been cool to see a lot of the world.
Right. And to be able to have that energy to go and do that. I think that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And you're preparing to kick off the US tour in October. The closest you'll get to us here in Chattanooga is in Nashville and Atlanta. I kind of told you before we
Yeah,
started recording here that our listeners are so used to going to either city. It's only a 2-hour drive, no matter which way you go. So I'm sure many will come out to see you. What can we expect when it comes to that leg of the tour? And are there any cities in particular, other than Nashville and Atlanta, of course, that you're
yeah.
looking forward to exploring, or maybe for the first time or revisiting?
Yeah, to be honest, there are like a lot of cities that I've never been to on the North American leg. I mean, in both legs, that I'm really excited to go to.
Excellent.
I have really not spent any quality time in Atlanta, to be honest.
Okay.
Um, I've been in Nashville like here and there, nothing substantial. I mean, there's a bunch of places in Texas we're going to I've never been. It's North Carolina. Like, there's a lot of states I feel like I've never been to. I'm excited for my hometown show in New York. I think that's always going to be an incredible one.
Of course.
Um, and then, you know, it's always fun going to Europe too. So I think there's some
Yeah.
places that are cool. But I think what I might be most excited for are the places in the US that I haven't seen or been to, that I haven't performed at. I think it'll be cool to go to
Yeah.
these cities that, you know, are technically home
Right.
in, you know, the country I'm from, and it'd be cool to, you know, meet people there. Yeah.
Well, I do suggest in between your travels of Atlanta and Nashville, if you can, even if you just need to pass by Chattanooga, you should stop on by and see us. We have a beautiful
Yeah.
city, lots to do, great food spots if you're a
Oh, okay.
foodie. So just put it on the list. A maybe, a maybe. I know you're
Absolutely.
going to
I'll
be
tell the bus
busy.
driver to reroute.
There we
Reroute.
go. There we go.
There
It's
you go.
possible. You're probably going to drive right past this. It happens
Okay.
quite often when it comes to the Atlanta Nashville trek. So, Mark,
Amazing.
thank you so much for the time. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you taking some time. Congratulations again on all the success. We'll continue to play Belong Together, and we're looking forward to the next one. We have a little bit of a tradition here on Hits 96. Before I wrap up an interview, we have something that we call the Satchel of Questions. the satchel of questions. This is going to be one random question. We talked all about music and everything else. This is kind of gives us an opportunity just to talk about something super random. It could be a would you rather, your biggest fear, something of that nature. So are you ready to take on the satchel of questions?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. One question for you. Here we go. What is a weird habit that you have? mark-ambor, what's a weird habit that you have?
A weird habit I have.
Any weird habits that you maybe do, maybe something you do as you before you go on stage, before you perform?
Let me think about this for
Yeah, take a second.
A weird habit that I have. I don't know if this counts, but it's something that I do that people think I'm crazy for. I feel like I drink coffee all the time, and I will often after dinner, like at 7 or 8, just have an espresso shot. And I guess I don't know if that's weird, but some people look at me like I'm crazy because they're like, aren't you gonna be up all night?
Right.
I'm like, no, I don't know. For some reason I can drink coffee and then just go right to sleep. I don't know. Maybe something's wrong with me, but
no, that's not. That works. That works for me. A
yeah,
non-coffee
habit. That's a random thing that I actually do a lot. Yeah, I want to think of something weirder, but I can't think of anything right now.
Do you have any pre-show rituals? Maybe not weird, but something that you do before you kind of go out, kind of just set the.
To be honest, we haven't done anything too kind of I haven't I haven't started a routine of doing anything too crazy yet. I mean, we always have sour gummy worms laying around because that's like on our rider. That's important. Actually, there is something
that's important. Yeah.
We huddle and stuff too. But
sure.
A fan first show ever gave me a little. Actually, I have it right here. Ow. She gave me this little crochet frog.
Oh, very cool.
Random.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the first kind of gift I'd ever gotten from a fan. It was my first show ever in Toronto. And I was like, well, what's this? And she's like, oh, I made this for you. It's like Froggy Amber. And I was like, oh, sick. Okay, cool. And I kind of thought it was funny. And I started putting it on like the piano every night during the shows. And then like someone made an Instagram for it. And then like,
oh my gosh.
Now at every show, people like take pictures of it and it shows up on that Instagram and it's like it has like 1,000 followers now. And it's like this like little thing within like the supporters of my music that like they've latched onto. So I guess Froggy being on my piano every show is kind of a habit that I'm getting into.
No, that's a very cool story. And I'm sure that fan is like, oh my gosh, look what I did.
Yeah, but so what happened was then after that, all these fans started getting me like they started crocheting all these different things like blueberries and coffee cups and like the wife of Froggy and then it got like to a point where it was like ridiculous or like too many stuffed animals on my piano that like I had to go back to that.
Yeah, stick to the original.
Yeah,
he needs his spot, and that would be it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Mark, for the time. Again, we appreciate you. Have a great time on tour. Congratulations on all the success, and hopefully we'll talk to you the next time around. Okay.
Amazing. Thanks for having me. I'll see you hopefully in Atlanta.
Absolutely.
It's 9